many years. You all know him. He's been absolutely pivotal in the development of Shopify and the retail operating system. Please join me in giving a very warm welcome to our Chief Product Officer, Craig Miller.
Thanks, Vanessa. So let's quickly recap about some of the things we've been hearing about so far this morning. Well, we started out by talking about our brand new online store editor with master pages, draft themes, app sections, videos, 3D models, augmented reality. We talked about how it helps you sell across borders with native multi-currency and multiple languages. Then we talked about retail. We talked about a brand new, completely rewritten Shopify point of sale that beautifully complements the nice new hardware that we've created for it. Not to be outdone, we also talked about Shopify Plus, which has now been completely rebuilt to support multiple online stores in one native interface. And of course, we talked about updates to our merchant backend, order editing, I know it was a huge crowd pleaser, and shipping profiles. And finally, we talked about some great new developer additions, APIs, and lots of sections as well. And so what's the common thread between all these announcements? Well, fundamentally, I believe that the importance of owning a direct relationships is more important now than ever. It's a belief that technology can enable the smallest merchants out there to compete with the large giants. And it's a belief that Shopify will allow you to build an enduring, valuable business on your own terms. But we're not done yet. Let's talk about one more thing. So today, when we click the complete checkout button, when we order from independent e-commerce sites, we all are so excited to get that item, but we end up waiting days, sometimes even weeks, to get those items for you. Worse yet, sometimes when you discover how much shipping costs, or how long a shipment will take, you end up actually losing a conversion. We've all done this. So the question is, why does shipping still take so long and cost so much? Well, let's return to Nomads, who are based in Indiana. So they've recently moved from storing their products locally to shipping them from a local warehouse. And say they want to send a product over to California. Now, most of us are used to the idea of buying something on a Wednesday and hopefully being able to get it on Friday. Well, what would that actually cost Nomads to offer? Well, a 1-pound package traveling from Indiana to California in 2 days costs between $13 and $26 for shipping, depending on the carrier. Now, Nomads also has to pay for space in their warehouse to pick and pack their order as well. So if they tried to offer something like 2-day shipping without passing on that massive cost to their buyer, they'd lose anywhere from 1/3 to all of their profit on shipping alone. So the way to get faster shipping without breaking the bank is to get inventory closer to the end buyer. So Nomad starts looking at the world of outsourced third-party logistic providers. And what they discover terrifies them. First, they run into issues with complex pricing. See, contracts normally run multiple pages long, sometimes dozens and dozens, and they require year-long or multi-year contracts. Worse yet, it actually becomes difficult to figure out what's the actual cost in fulfilling an item. Then they run into an issue with discovering that their inventory cost on hand, that's normally their single largest expense, actually has to balloon by about 15% if they want to start having items in multiple warehouses. Then they discover issues with technology. Integrating with multiple warehouses oftentimes takes months and even more, depending on who you try and integrate with. And then, of course, you have multiple competing sources of inventory, of truth on inventory. And finally, you run into issues with poor performance. What I mean by that is oftentimes the wrong products get shipped to the wrong address, delays in processing time, and so on. So why not just use a fulfillment system offered by one of those large marketplaces out there? Well, they too have their issues. First and foremost, they're actually not accessible to small merchants. In fact, recently in the news, they've been actually talking about kicking out some of their smaller merchants to get rid of those that aren't selling fast enough. Then there's the issue of customer data. Some of these large marketplaces out there actually start taking the customer data and using them in other ways. Worse, they sometimes don't even give you your own customer data, which sounds crazy. Then there's the issue of your brand control. Let's admit it, you want the package arriving in a box that has your logo on it, not theirs. And finally, and probably most scary, is unfair competition. Recently, we've started to see marketplaces using data like order volume to actually decide to create knockoff products for less money and lower quality, potentially competing with the actual merchants that use them. So this got us asking a very basic question. How can our merchants deliver, pardon that pun, fast and inexpensive shipping without any of these problems? And so today, I'm excited to introduce our solution. We have built a geographically dispersed network of fulfillment centers with powerful machine learning that supports intelligent demand forecasting, inventory allocation, and order routing. Or if you don't speak geek, today I'm excited to announce the Shopify Fulfillment Network. So what is the Shopify Fulfillment Network? Well, behind the scenes, we've set up a network of fulfillment centers currently spread out all throughout the United States. This network ensures that orders can be delivered fast. Then, we use machine learning to predict which node should contain each of a merchant's SKUs and how many, so that merchants don't need to actually replicate their products all over. And finally, we've connected all these disparate warehouse systems, predictive algorithms, and Shopify together in a perfectly seamless way. But what gets me most excited is the merchant experience, though. We've taken something that used to be costly, complex, and, well, convoluted, and made it totally approachable. But instead of talking about how easy we've made it, why don't I show you? So here's how a merchant will experience the Shopify Fulfillment Network. Step number 1, install the app. We all know how to do this, right? Okay, good. Done. Step number 2, select the products you want fulfilled by the Shopify Fulfillment Network. That was easy. Step 3, review a custom, easy-to-read quote with a monthly storage cost and a per shipment cost. And step number 4, send us the products. That's it. It's that easy. Once enabled, a merchant using the Shopify Fulfillment Network doesn't need to think about picking, packing, shipping, or fulfillment ever again. We'll periodically tell the merchant when to replenish their inventory so they'll never have to stop selling, and buyers always get their shipments fast. The Shopify Fulfillment Network is already up and running. The first store that was using it was naturally our own, the Shopify hardware store, where we sell hardware for the Shopify point-of-sale system. Now, previously, the hardware store had been using a single fulfillment center based in the middle of the US. Orders were processed in about a day or two after being received, and merchants were receiving their packages about 4 to 10 days later. Sorry to all you that had to wait. Now, we had an accuracy rate of 95%. That meant about 1 in 20 orders actually had an issue, whether they were the wrong items, mailing addresses, or other issues. Today, thanks to the Shopify Fulfillment Network, the hardware store now ships 99% of their orders the same day, and 99.9% of them without error. In fact, we've actually shipped out over 50,000 packages within 2 days of less of an order being received. And thanks to our machine learning model, we've been able to do this without significantly increasing our cost of inventory on hand. In fact, for merchants now using the Shopify Fulfillment Network, we can now predict where and when a SKU will actually sell with over 85% accuracy. So, even though it's still early days for the Shopify Fulfillment Network, it already supports a lot of great features. For example, it supports multiple channels. So in addition to supporting your online store, it also supports wholesale channel, retail fulfillment, social channels like Instagram, and hell, if you want to sell on those marketplaces like eBay and Amazon, it supports that as well. It supports custom packaging and branding, so that means no more dull cardboard boxes obscuring your brand. It also supports returns and exchanges, kitting, other value-added services as well. But what gets me personally the most excited is the merchants it supports. The Shopify Fulfillment Network supports merchants as large as those that are selling 10,000 packages per day, down to those sending out just 10 packages per day. We have designed the Shopify Fulfillment Network for everyone. And what I'm even more excited about is by the end of this year, our plan is to scale it up and down. So by the end of this year, we should be able to serve merchants that send out 30,000 packages per day, all the way down to those that are just sending out 3 packages per day. And at that time, we should be able to deliver to 99% of the continental USA within 2 days or less. So where are we today? Well, today I'm happy to announce we've completed our beta and are now starting to provide early access. And that means qualifying merchants can start to apply to use the Shopify Fulfillment Network. Again, if you ship between 10 and 10,000 packages per day, we might be the perfect solution for you. So go to shopify.com/fulfillment or contact your Plus MSM for more. As well, we're now accepting new fulfillment partners into the network. You see, the Shopify Fulfillment Network is designed to include both fulfillment centers that are run by partners, as well as centers that we will operate on our own. So if you run a fulfillment center and are interested in partnering with Shopify, please let us know. So in case this isn't clear by now, and I hope it is, this is a major initiative for all of us at Shopify. We plan on spending over $1 billion to build and operate the Shopify Fulfillment Network over the next few years. This is yet another example of how Shopify is democratizing commerce by taking the warehouse systems, machine learning, and other technology that used to only be reserved for the largest companies in the world, and making them accessible and affordable to all merchants, including those that are just starting to take off. Our hope is that over time, the Shopify Fulfillment Network will help make fast and inexpensive shipping the new standard on the internet. Thank you, everyone.